Lisbon Wilche. Time on buicht takeout the hurt on ruin shot and ocht. Last week we sat in the dial and heard how despite everything we see around us that the economy is getting better. Who is it getting better for? Certainly not the ordinary working person. We were told hard choices had to be made. It seems the hardest choice the members across the floor had to make last week was how far to go with waffle about seeking changes or taking any risk to oppose unfair measures. Because certainly no hard choices were made by the Cabinet in the run-up to this budget, and any hope of members of the government parties, particularly Labour, opposing this budget were naive to begin with, but they certainly were dashed quickly. You choose to cut those who do what you seem to be incapable of. You choose to cut those who care, those who think not of themselves but of the people they have dedicated to serve and to give dignity and love to, no matter how hard. These carers made the hard choices. They make them every day. They have been through it. Not the TDs here who wrangle over their supposed difficulty with these cuts, but will saunter through the halls of the Tá vote nonetheless, like well-dressed and overpaid sheep. James Connolly, in his pamphlet, The Reconquest of Ireland, wrote of how those who are caring and empathetic, those who are not driven by greed, are the ones who are the most exploited in society. He was writing about women, but he could easily have been writing about carers. Unfortunately, his words were written under British rule in the Ireland of 1915, but he is still correct today. He went on to say that the Irish woman had been a very cheap slave to the Irish capitalist. It is surely galling to see that today. These words by the founder of the Labour Party could ring so true about their own policy. Carers, for their kindness and love, are exploited. They are used to save the state money, and now they are used as a scapegoat. The people are told that the government had no choice. The arrogance of this government and its members is shocking. Again and again, we raise real issues affecting people from cuts, but all we are given is deflection and dismissal. I am sick and tired of being told that impressing the Troika is the big issue, that serving their interests is paramount, and that the only way to do this is to make cuts to the most vulnerable. Maintaining any semblance of society or community is seemingly irrelevant as long as we are the best boys in Europe for going along with a terrible deal no one else would accept. I met a woman at the carers protest the other day. She has 6 children, 2 with intellectual disabilities. This woman will lose €98 a month alone from her children's allowance. The Irish League of Credit Unions survey recently found 1.8 million people are left with €100 or less at the end of the month. I can guarantee you that this woman is among that group, and she has now been cut by €98 every month. Where does she stand now? You are literally throwing people into poverty and grinding down those already there. We challenge ministers and government members on these unfair cuts, and they simply respond, well, the choice was, it was the respite care or it was core pay. As if there is no untaxed wealth in the state apart from in the accounts of the low-paid. As if social welfare payments are the only expense of the state. Sinn Féin put forward costed measures which add up despite the lies of this government. I'm sure you all learned off your memo well on how to attack our budget, but I doubt many of you actually read our submission. Well, unfortunately, we had to read your budget, and it made for scary reading for anyone who has any understanding of justice. We put forward many fair and progressive measures which would have generated many, many times more revenue for the state than the paltry 26 million cut from carers. But you listened not once. The poor, the disabled, the young, the old, the unemployed and the debt-riddled are the targets for this government. I know this well, but it is still jarring when it is presented so clearly in front of me. I am so disappointed by many members of Labour, people I have worked with on Dublin City Council, people who at one time or still would call themselves socialists. Are you slaves to the middle-aged, out-of-touch leadership that has mulled over wine for too long and have betted themselves in their lust for power? You have betrayed your cause, your people, and your legacy as the party of James Connolly in this your centenary year. Eamon Gilmore famously said, "It's Labour's way or Frankfurt's way." The people did not vote for the Labour Party before us today. I think it is time that Eamon Gilmore recognised as much. He didn't believe that statement as he said it. Pat Rabbitt says, lying is just what you do in an election. Anything goes to get into power. No principles whatsoever. Is this what you believe? Is this what Labour deputies believe? If so, you deserve no confidence and shall have none. Remember the old saying, the time for dancing was when the band was playing. Now is the time to say no. Now is the time for Labour to stand up and support this motion. Thank you.